opportunity for those of you who like to stream to contribute, and it's $2 a month. It's the cheapest one, and it's a big thank you to you guys for participating and being part of the stream, for helping it grow. You will have access to the Discord server where everybody can come together from all the different social media and just interact with each other, get to know each other, share ideas, thoughts, expression, your creative endeavors. You could post images on there, and you could post links as well. So it's just a way for everybody to come together into one spot and interact and create a community. You'll get your name listed in the credits. I'm going to start doing credits at the end of the stream, so that way, you guys will see that at the end of the stream. And then we got the tier 2. This is the all access patron. You get all the previous tiers plus having access to finished pages and exclusive content. I'm going to try to go through this real quick. I don't want to spend too much time. I'd like to jump back into the project stream. So you guys can also check out this, check out the Patreon page. I have it listed on Twitch, on the Twitch channel, along with other social media as well. So take a look there. You'll have a chance to read through and really understand each tier. And you could always ask me questions on stream in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions you got. So yeah, in the tier 2, you get access to all the finished pages. There's going to be content on here that I'm not going to be posting anywhere else aside from just Patreon. So you guys are going to get to see exclusive work that's been finished, that's been done, projects that I've worked on before. It's all going to be available for the tier 2 and on. So then we got the tier 3, and this is one that is good for people who want to be part of the stream. So if you're working on something, if you're working on an illustration, you want some pointers, you want to get some feedback, or you want to promote your work even through this critique stream, this is a chance for you to do it. It's $15 a month. You could submit your work. You could do it multiple times a month. At this point, there is no cap to it, really. It's just a matter of how many people start to participate. So once it starts to build up, then I think it's going to be limited to a few times a month to give other people a chance to be on the stream. It's going to be every Friday. So for 2 hours straight, I'm going to be doing critiques. Until then, it's going to be other streams, the streams that you guys have been seeing throughout the week, until it builds up. But after that, it's going to be every Friday for 2 hours. So it's a good chunk of time and to get multiple submissions. So yeah, if you want helpful tips to improve, get a chance to have your work featured, send me a link to your social media. So if you got like an Instagram, DeviantArt, Tumblr, whichever one, and I will post it along with your work for people to check out some of the other things that you're working on as well, other projects you've completed. You will also have a dedicated channel on Discord for artist submissions. So everybody who's participating in it, you guys can have a chance to get together and talk amongst yourselves. Talk about whatever it is that you want. There isn't really anything specific for it. It's just a community forming channel. Or you guys can talk about some of the stuff that happened on stream during the critique. Whatever it is, it's an opportunity for you guys to connect with each other. And then, of course, you get all the other benefits from the other tiers. Then we got the next one, which is the Kickstarter patron tier. And here you will have an opportunity to get a personal, high resolution digital painting of you done. And I will send you that file after it's finished for you to do whatever you'd like to do. Make it your social media profile. Send it to somebody who who's a significant other or somebody who's a family member. Whatever it is, it's yours to have and to hold. So I do encourage you guys to have masks, makeup, do some makeup, have classes, expressive face expressions, hats and accessories. Those would be all great. I think it'll make the stream fun. People will get to see some creativity, some interesting face expressions. while I'm painting you guys, but it's not necessary. It's not required. You could just send me a photo of you from your head down to like about your neck, or rather your chest. So if you are wearing some costume or something, people could see that. Like if you're wearing a robe or whatever. Yeah. So then you will get all the other tiers as well, from the previous tiers. Benefits from all the other tiers as well, and the high resolution digital painting of you. Then next one, we got tier 5 artist promotions, and this is for intermediate and advanced artists, not so much for beginners. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to have tier 3 available, because that's really for everybody. If you're just starting out, if you are intermediate, advanced, any of those really, you guys can submit your work there. But for this one, the tier 5, that's artist promotions. That's somebody who really wants to put their work out there, and has a body of work to show. So this is an opportunity for you guys to do that. You'll get 5-minute airtime, and you could do whatever it is that you like. I encourage you to send in a video. In fact, that's the best way to go about it. Send in a video with your work. So if you're an illustrator, you could create like an iMovie with a slideshow of your work, showing what it is you want people to see. And I think that's the best way to go about it. You'll get to have them timed the way you'd like them to be. It's going to be based on your pace, as long as it's within 5 minutes. You get to talk about it, play some music in the background, whatever it is that you'd like to do. Just create this video and send it over, and I will promote it on stream prior to starting the stream, during the stream, as well as your social media link to funnel people to your page. After they see that stuff, I'm sure they're going to want to see the rest of it and more of your work. So make sure you include that. There's an important note for getting selected. Please subscribe first to tier 1 if you want to submit some work. You want to be considered to be shown on stream. Subscribe to tier 1 so you get access to Discord, and send me a private message. Let me know what you want to submit. Send me a link, or rather the name to your social media, or even the link if it's a popular site, like if it's Tumblr, if it's Instagram, if it's DeviantArt, whatever it is. As long as it's a popular site. If it's an abstract link, I'm not going to open it. I'm just doing this to make sure. I'm just putting this out there to make sure not to have any bad links out there. So if you're going to send me a link, make sure that within the link your username is listed, so I could even just check it on my own. But yeah, read through this. It's really important. I don't want you guys to put in $25 and then find out that the work really isn't suitable for the stream. I wouldn't want to do that to you. So with the tier 1, it's only $2, and it's for consideration, and you could always cancel before the next session. And that goes for tier 3, the critique submission as well. You don't have to. You could do it just once a month, or you could just do it once. It's really up to you, but just remember to cancel if you're not planning to do it for the next month either. Then we got, there's all sorts of little tips there so that you guys can have a better understanding of what's going on. You could also check out the launch, the Patreon launch and schedule change video in the past broadcasts, where I go into detail talking about each tier, giving you guys better understanding of what's going on, just really reviewing it. And as I mentioned, you guys can also check out the page, read through it, and then if you have any questions, you could just ask me in chat, and I'll write you back and talk about it on stream. Then we got tier 4, which is private tutoring. This way, it's just one-on-one. You don't need to show your work to everybody else if you're not ready for it, if that's just not what you want to do right now. And this is also an opportunity for anybody, whatever your skill level is, you could just apply to this and I'll be able to help you out. You'll get 15 to 30 minutes. I'm always going to aim for 30 minutes. You get a 15 to 30 minute video per week. So 4 videos per month total. giving you detailed explanation, step-by-step instruction, critique of your work, and just in general helping you improve what you're working on. So you got to send me something in the beginning and we'll work from there. You'll also get a private Discord channel where it's dedicated just to you, and that way it's between me and you could send me stuff there. You could send me the progress on your work, ask me questions, leave some comments, and I'll either write you back or I'll talk about it in the next video that I'm going to send you. That way we'll have one-on-one connection there, and you can ask me whatever it is that you like at times where you're not watching the videos. You'll also get tier 4 members only Discord channel, where it's only limited to 15 people. It's the amount of time that I got. So you guys, all 15 of you, will have a channel dedicated just for you guys to interact with each other, talk about your progress. Similar to the other tiers, it's to build a community and help you guys connect as well and interact with each other. So that's the last tier. This is a brief overview, guys, so check out the page, read through it, see which one you like, and ask away. Ask me any questions on stream. All right, y'all, this is the quick preview. Let's jump into the project stream. I did some more work yesterday off stream. I'm really liking it. I think it's coming out great. I'm not wrestling so much with the perspective or facial features as much, and as I mentioned, it's a lot to do with the image being a high quality image. It's not a snapshot of a video like I did last time. That was a challenge. It was a challenging project, I'll admit that. And I'm up for that, especially when it comes to drawing. It's a great way to learn to get better and to improve. Kick yourself out of your comfort zone and put your skills to the test with something different. And that proved to be the case. I'm really looking forward to these tiers growing, especially the artist submission tier. I think it's going to be a fun way for everybody to just kind of get to know each other, establish people who are on the stream regularly and contributing their creation and creativity. I think all of them are great. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to create all those different tiers. I think all of them will be really fun. To see everybody's creativity, everybody's projects, what they find interesting, and I think it'll make a fun stream all in all, not just for me but the viewers as well. So yeah, it should be good when it starts growing. It would be cool to see some music videos too. I think, I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that I don't watch TV. I don't have those like cable channels or anything like that, but I haven't really seen, even on social media, I haven't seen some like cool music videos in a really long time. I was looking through on YouTube for some like old music videos, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, they're interesting, thought-provoking music videos that were made back then. By back then, I mean like, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago. Whereas now, I don't really see that much. The content is pretty boring. Like, it's your typical music videos, you know, either talking about sex or relationship that that person had and how they feel about the person. I mean, that's all great. It's just having to have a mix of content. I guess it really depends also on what your interests are, like what kind of music you like, what style you like. I think with like the high quality of phones now, like the ability for phones to create high quality videos and photos and stuff, I think people have more ways of creating interesting music videos. Like, you don't have to have like high quality equipment that costs like thousands of dollars. I mean, the phones are actually $1,000. It's just that people are able to buy them for plans and such. But yeah, they're pretty powerful cameras nowadays. So I would imagine people could actually make their own music videos without having to depend on like big budget multi-production kind of deal. I'm going to be showing you guys soon some music videos that I like. As no way like, hey, this is the standard. It's just to share some interesting content, really. And has nothing to do with like, this is, I don't even expect it, you know, to be of that quality either. And I'm just open to music videos in general. I'd like to see what you guys are creating out there, what kind of content you're making. I think it'll be fun. That's what pretty much Art Lounge is about. It's just people getting together, talking about art and things that they like, expressing their ideas and thoughts. took some time to work on the tattoo, and then I started to see the pattern on it, and it really changed its look towards the better. Because before it was like just abstract lines, or I was just following what I saw rather than like understanding the pattern and then just using it as a reference from time to time. I think the challenging part about it is it's in perspective. I can't really, like, it's going towards her back, so the shapes kind of warp. And I'm trying to understand it in that perspective. trying to take on the challenge of drawing it in perspective to what's actually on there. Like as the lines are there, not as the pattern is going. To make it seem like the tattoo is actually laying on her shoulder and not just a design. I think it might be time for me to replace the nib. Because I think it does wear out. I mean, it comes with a bunch of nibs. If I see that nib holder, I do see it. I'm gonna quickly replace and see how different it feels. I do notice that it just like falls into a groove of some sort. And that's one of the reasons why I start to press harder, is because I'm like, I gotta get more control of it. It's not going where I want it to go. But really it's the nib, and it's like it wore out. So it has like these corners and sharp edges, and when I press down on the tablet, it instantly goes to the direction of like the worn out side of the pen. That's the part that I'm not too crazy about when it comes to digital work, is that unless you got one of those like really expensive Cintiqs where you're looking at the screen and the pen at the same time, yeah, you're kind of just like stifled a little bit by this disconnect. Like you're staring at the screen, you're not really looking at your hand to make sure things come out right. There's a difference. Like, I just switched the nibs, and the lines are more accurate. Just noticed it falling into a certain direction each time, and I was like, wait, maybe it's not. It's the nib. It has nothing to do with the pen itself or the software. I'm surprised actually that the tablet came with nibs. I thought that was going to be another nasty capitalistic tactic of like, here's one nib, and then if you want to get other nibs, it's going to cost you like $40-50. But it came with like I'd say a good amount, like 6 or 7. No, I'm fudging it. I'm fudging it. I'd say this is like the blurry part of the image. Can't really see what's going on that angle. I'm improvising a little bit. And this circle is bugging me a bit. It's not supposed to look like that. The inside of it. It's supposed to be more of an oval shape. And slightly smaller. I don't know how to pinch it. Like this circle right here, it's supposed to be much smaller. It's supposed to be like that big. So I probably should have started out by drawing the circle, the shape of it, and then building it out from there. I just didn't see the pattern really. At first I was just like, I'm seeing slight variation here. And then as I started to draw it, then I was like, oh, I get it. It's an important piece, you know. I think I have to maybe if I just do this whole part, this whole tattoo, just make it smaller. It might help. Because there are areas there that are not showing up for my version.
What this means is if you take your time and plan things out and make sure that you are set up to perform that job as flawlessly as you can, you're going to have a much better result. rush through something and then take 3 times as long as you need to because you have to troubleshoot all these weird issues.
That's true.
And what's even worse than that is you end up with lingering doubts as to whether your workmanship is good.
That's true.
So don't be that person. Take your time and really enjoy the process as much as you can, and try to make the product as perfect as you can. Then you'll be able to rely on this thing for years to come.
I think it's important that he said, try to make it as perfect. Not make it perfect, but try to do it as perfect as possible. Because I feel like that becomes also a burden as well, where people become obsessed with trying to correct it and they just never really let go of it. Whatever they're working on, they're just like always trying to nitpick things here and there because they have that perfectionist side kick in. So that was a good note. Enjoy the process.
Then you'll be able to rely on this thing for years to come.
Because that's essentially what it's about. You know, it is about the process. If you're not enjoying what you're doing and you're just focusing on the result, I don't know, there isn't much joy in that. You're hating the entire step to it. And if that's the case, you should probably look for something that brings you joy while you're doing it. Pretty sure that's also a concept that was in The Fountainhead, talking about, like, you know, enjoying the process and like how hard work was. That person, what they were doing, they were really in love with it. But his rivals or other, like, I guess, the antagonists of the book were the opposite of it. They were doing it for like glory, and they weren't really that much into it. And it showed in their work. It was just like, But you could see how that becomes a slippery slope, where it's like, unless it's perfect, and then that means you didn't really care. You know, so it's always walking that fine line between the two. Of like caring, really putting in effort, enjoying the process, but not to a point where it's debilitating. And you're criticizing yourself because you're just like, oh, this isn't great. This is, you know, I'm not that good. I shouldn't submit my work. I shouldn't do this, that, and the other. I'm not like this person. You know, that whole thing, that train wreck where people are comparing themselves to others. I guess that's also the benefit of like what's going on now. I think as far as art goes, because there's so many like outlets, you know, there are so many different social media platforms and ways for people to connect with each other, that it really kind of throws off like, what is this standard? Because there's audience for almost anything. There's some art out there that isn't my taste, but has a huge following. You know, that just attests to the idea that, you know, you really could find yourself a niche or a group of people who really enjoy things the way that you're creating them. Whereas I think before it was so heavily relied on the industry standards, like what this network expects from you. And that really also heavily depends on who owns it politically too. You know, what is their taste like? So you're almost criticized based on somebody else's taste. Like they're gonna say, "Oh, you're not good enough for this network," or "You're not good enough for this show," or whatever else it was. And people would take it as like, "Yeah, I'm not good," as opposed to realizing like, well, it's just a network. You know, that's the person's taste. They might claim that they have universal taste when it comes to art, which I think is nonsense. Like, so arrogant to say that. And the social media platforms really prove that, is that there is a huge audience for all sorts of stuff. And I think that's great. I think there's like everything, there's a positive and negative to everything. Because in some ways, like, yes, it's great that more people get to do art and they don't have to subject themselves to like the standards of somebody and have to appease their point of view on things. You could do your own stuff, but it also kind of loses the, like, I think there is amazing work out there. You know, I don't think it's all just, everything is subjective. I think there is some sort of quality to work that resonates more with people and as a whole. You know, there's some books that we read that are classics, and no matter what time it is, what year or what period it is, they highlight these like experiences, human experiences that are really accurate. You know, so people are like reading a book from like 1800s and the way the person wrote it, and you're like, wow, that still applies today. You know, so it's like capturing the human experience really well. I mean, that's what makes them classics. So I do think that there is that. But that's really the problem there. Like, it really just depends on the artist. It depends on how it resonates with people. There are just so many different avenues, you know, to that reality. I don't think there is like a definitive answer. You know, somebody who says like they have the definitive taste. It really starts to like sway more towards a controlling aspect of art. Or, as I mentioned, people are like trying to appease that person's taste rather than just really diving into what art is really about. And then the other side of it is like when something does come along that's really good, people's reaction is just like, well, whatever, you know, it's not, it doesn't say everything, which it's not supposed to. So there's like opposition from any direction really that goes. I just think it's great that now social media allows more and more people to actually explore that. Like, that's definitely the biggest positive outcome of it all, is people aren't like just subjecting themselves to networks only. You know, you're able to branch out and see how your work resonates with people. Whereas before you couldn't do that. Before it was either you appease the network, and then because it's in a network, people are going to like it. You know, like there's that whole thing. Like when people go to the museum and they look at a painting and they're not a fan of the artist, they just know that it's a famous painting. So they're like, oh, wow. But they don't really care or really even understand what it's about. But their reaction is to be as aware as the person who made it famous or is famous for it, so it's just it really is a fine line between all of it. And as I said, I don't think there's like a clear cut line. It's very complicated. I mean, that's what makes art so interesting, is that there's subjectivity to it, and also people trying to capture the objectivity in a certain sense, like that classical book, right? That example of a classical book, trying to capture these elements that we all connect on. But that's part of the fun. I think that's what makes it so interesting. More people trying to share their perspective, share their reality, and at some point it might hit. It might be something that, because of how you shared it, how you've created the content, that it really resonates with people. And some people don't like that uncertainty. And I think that is mainly with people who don't like art. Which to me doesn't make much sense, because pretty much anything that people do outside of their jobs is considered art. Movies, that's art. Video games, art. It's all a bunch of people coming together, creating ideas, creating worlds that people interact with. So that's all art. So when somebody's like, oh, I don't like it, or I'm not interested in it, I'm like, well, pretty much everything that you do that you consider entertainment is art. So how can you not like it? It's better to say I don't understand it. I think that's more accurate. There's a lot of art I don't understand, but I like art. But in corporate culture, or in that sort of environment, not knowing something is considered a weakness. Like, you're a weak person. That whole awful culture where people are just always know-it-alls, because otherwise their jobs are on the line. And the toxic culture, basically, that creates that sort of interaction and environment. Ooh, look at the time go. I'm ranting away about art. Mainly spent a lot of the time on the tattoo today. There'll be some more time to do work tomorrow. So make sure you check back in. Same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. I will be working more on this project. And yeah, check out the Patreon page, y'all. Take a look at it and see which one you're interested in. Submit some work. It'll be interesting to see what you're up to. And if you like the content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. They both help out, help the channel grow, branch out, get more people involved. So that way we can get more submissions and more interesting content to stream. So thanks again, y'all. Stick around. I'll be back in 5 minutes for Coloring Comics, where I'm going to be coloring John Buscema's Conan the Barbarian.